Ever since the Ball family started dominating basketball, I always felt that LiAngelo Ball has gotten a bad rap. The Balls would be on top of the world for a long period of time, but for some reason, it always felt like LiAngelo wasn't a part of it. And I mean that from the outside standpoint of a lot of people were hating on LiAngelo. For the life of me, I never understood it because LiAngelo Ball, from the moment I saw him, looked like an absolute bucket. He put up big games in high school, and he's put up big games in just about every league he's played in. And if he got the time in college, I think he would have had a great collegiate career. Now, I know a lot of people are going to give me backlash for this, but when you look at LiAngelo Ball, he has the prototypical college basketball game. He's somebody that can shoot the ball very well. And it's funny because LiAngelo Ball has gotten so much hate. There's actually people who think he's not a legit shooter when he's obviously the best shooter of any of the Balls. Not only does he have the best form and the most consistent form, but he's proven his jump shot on various levels. Now, I also know Lonzo did shoot very well in college, but since reaching the NBA, Lonzo hasn't been the same shooter that he's been in college. And I think that has to do with the somewhat inconsistent mechanics he's used to shoot the ball over the years. Though this season with the Pelicans, Lonzo's shot has been looking better. But back to LiAngelo Ball. He's been a catch and shoot player that can also score the ball on the block. Now, a lot of people were concerned about LiAngelo Ball being able to play at the next level because of his size and because of his play style. But if we focus on the collegiate game is filled with undersized big men. And as a matter of fact, it's filled with guys around LiAngelo Ball's size. Now, I'm not saying you would want LiAngelo Ball to play the undersized big, to play the undersized forward at the collegiate level, but I'm saying there are players way less qualified than LiAngelo in college. And in college, if you can shoot the basketball, you're going to have a good collegiate career, more likely than not. And I'm talking about if you're one of the best shooters. And again, if you're just a decent to good shooter, the chances are coaches are going to find time for you, because the way the collegiate game is set up, teams love to pack the paint because a lot of players, a lot of teams, they just don't have shooters. NBA players will tell you this, and I don't remember what player said this, but I think it was Spencer Dinwiddie actually. I think he actually said the game of college basketball was harder for him than the NBA, which sounds insane. But he said teams were so ready to pack the paint in college. You would get into the lane and it would be 4 to 5, however many guys just waiting down there. So it was really hard to score in the paint. And of course, the defensive rules in college are a little bit different, which is why shooters are so important. When you take into account LiAngelo would have probably spent 4 years in college, he would have had more time to develop his game. He would have had more time to become a polished player. But of course, a lot of times things happen for a reason. Again, ever since I first saw LiAngelo play, I could tell this guy could score the ball. And I don't want to simplify his game to just being a catch and shoot player or somebody that's able to score on the block and take advantage of smaller defenders. But those are the things that LiAngelo Ball is very, very good at. When you look at Jello's brothers, Lonzo and LaMelo, these are guys who are supremely talented basketball players. Whether you like it or not, these guys have all of the potential in the world to be very good at the NBA level. We've seen Zoe take over UCLA, and we've seen Melo turn heads in the NBL. To me, for whatever reason, Melo and Zoe always seem like more natural basketball players. Now, I'm not saying that they don't work hard, but I'm saying that I've always felt that Jello is somebody that would have to work harder than them to get to the same level that they're at. The truth is, all of the Balls work really hard, and Jello is no exception. When you look at the transformation that Jello had to make to become ready for the NBA level, to become ready for the collegiate level, he's somebody that has refined his body from what it was in his early high school days. And you can tell because the change is night and day. About 2 to 3 months ago, I made a video hyping up Jello. That video had a lot of support, but it also had a lot of hate on it. And I couldn't really nail the reason. I just think there's a group of people that don't like the Balls and really don't want to see Jello doing well. December 22nd, I saw a tweet from Basketball Unleashed that said, LiAngelo Ball has rejected a contract from the London Lions of the British Basketball League in order to pursue a contract in the NBA G League. LiAngelo said, "It sounds a little crazy to other people, but I think my best path to get to the league is to join the G League." And then there was a tweet from Dylan Buckingham saying, "For those curious, the OKC Blue are currently playing Seahawks Falls Skyforce for a second straight game. Jello is in attendance." Also today, Bleacher Report announced that LiAngelo Ball joins the Thunder's G League affiliate, the OKC Blue, as a practice player. This video, we're going to be talking about the news I just presented to you guys and going more in depth. But before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss another D-Coop video. And that's facts. I'm trying to get to 200,000 subscribers so I can go full time and bring you guys daily videos. So be sure to subscribe and turn on those notifications. For everybody wondering why my uploads were slow during the Christmas week, I was out of town visiting family in New Orleans, which was fun, but it was so hard to find internet. To upload the video that I uploaded today for you guys, I had to sit in Starbucks for 5 hours. It was tough. But be sure to follow my IG handle, GLikeCoop. You won't want to miss another post. Now, the first thing I take away from this is that LiAngelo could be joining a Thunder team that's looking dangerous. LiAngelo Ball teaming up with Chris Paul, Steven Adams, and Alexander could be trouble for other teams. Chris Paul is the ultimate floor general, and he would be the perfect type of player to get LiAngelo Ball to his spots to get him good shots. Now, LiAngelo's game doesn't exactly remind me of Melo's, but there are similarities there. And I know the Chris Paul Melo thing didn't exactly work out as we would have thought, but I think there are exceptions to every rule, and I wouldn't think that that would mean LiAngelo would be a bad player in Oklahoma City. Two completely different systems and two different type of players, honestly. Again, I'm not completely comparing Jello's game to Carmelo Anthony, because I think at the NBA level, Jello, where he's selling you is with his jump shot. That's what you care the most about. Overseas in Lithuania, Jello took a lot of bad shots, but he was still shooting the three-pointer at over 40%, which is elite. Remember when the Thunder couldn't find spacing with Russell Westbrook? Things would be tough for them at times, and I think that's where the interest in LiAngelo Ball originally came from. Remember, if you can shoot the ball in the league, you're going to have a decent career if you're a decent player. Now, you guys have to keep in mind that LiAngelo, at this moment, is a practice player for the team. That means if he wants to make the roster, if he wants to become a big-time player, he's going to have to put in a lot of work. This is not going to be an easy path to the league at all for Jello. And I'm sure he understands that, and he knows what it takes, and I'm sure he wants to get there. For everybody thinking that he's going to coast off of his brother's name or hype alone, it's not going to happen. Again, he's going to have to put in the work. You guys may remember somebody by the name of Seth Curry, the brother of MVP Stephen Curry, one of the best players in the entire game of basketball. Nothing was given to Seth Curry. He had to develop his game starting at the very bottom of the league. He went undrafted. He played in the G League, and he was also a summer league player. This is, again, somebody that has worked a ton on improving their game. Watching Seth Curry play with the Pelicans in the NBA Summer League, he was one of the best players on the floor, hands down. And somehow, he still didn't get offered a spot by the Pelicans, but I think the Kings were the team that ended up offering him the contract. And I was confused because you would think, being the brother of Stephen Curry and also dominating in the NBA Summer League, that a team like the New Orleans Pelicans would be able to find a spot for you. Fortunate for him, though, it didn't matter, and he was so good that they could not keep him out of the NBA. I enjoy Seth Curry's game a lot. I think one of the best things I ever heard when it comes to the NBA is that the NBA is like the 100 or 150 best players in the entire world, and then it's a bunch of guys who should be able to excel at their roles. I think it's interesting because I do think you have to be really good to make the NBA, but I don't think that the NBA is a collection of all the best basketball players in the world, but I do think it's the best up to a certain number. There are a lot of players playing overseas or in other leagues that just were not afforded the opportunity to make the league. Guys that are better than a lot of the lower tier, lower roster players in the NBA. I'm talking about guys that are like at the very end of the bench. I think as more people notice this, we'll start to uncover more undrafted gems like Kendrick Nunn. Scouting goes a long way. Basketball is global. Let me know what you guys think about Jello possibly teaming up with Chris Paul and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Be sure to click the video on the screen right now, guys. It's me going over Zion's secret and what's next for the New Orleans Pelicans future. I'm D Coop. Be sure to subscribe and I'm out.